let's go to the coin toss. All righty then. As you all know, you guys, there are a lot of regular watchers, viewers out there. Thank you, Mr. Cornett, for tuning in.
Ooh,
It is time
hello.
for the coin toss. This is our first segment of the show. Well, this is where we really get down and talk some football and kind of give our opinions on things. So we got another 3 topics for you on this fine evening. One of the first ones, which I do find kind of interesting because with only 2 losses, they're 10-2. The Minnesota Vikings are currently sitting in that second position in the NFC. Now, do we believe in the Vikings? Can Kirk Cousins overcome the years, and I mean years, of ridicule and derision and lead his team to the Super Bowl? Anthony Handy, I ask you, do we believe in Minnesota? Can they win the NFC?
Can they win the NFC? Absolutely. Will they win the NFC?
Well,
I don't know. I mean,
that's another question, my friend,
you know
right?
what? You know what? I really want to believe in Captain Kirk. I really do. I just,
Okay.
but I just, it's kind of hard. It's difficult to say, okay, this is going to be the year he gets over the hump. Now,
Right.
to say to counter that, he finally has broken the primetime curse. So maybe this will be the year. So I really don't know. I'm still very on the fence. I want to
Okay.
see. I mean, I like the kid. I want to see him do it, but I don't know if they can or not. We'll see.
All right, that's fair enough. But Delilah, their 2 losses are actually to the Eagles and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So, given that those are the 2 teams they may have to contend with in these playoffs,
Right.
can Captain Kirk and the boys overcome? What do you think? Give me your opinion on Minnesota possibly winning the NFC.
I mean, it's possible because since their second seed, they play. If we went to the playoffs, who's their first game
Two and
against?
seven. They play the wild card, the 7th seed. Yeah, 2 play 7.
So
Yeah.
it already that's potentially a first round win for them because
Sure.
it's possibly it's possibly Seattle. I don't know. Commanders should sneak back in,
Right.
but I feel like because they
Yeah.
don't
Right now
get
it's Minnesota,
yeah.
Seattle.
So right now because the bye week is not for like that top 2 anymore, right? It's just the first. That's it. So like I think they have a chance to actually make it past the first round and they can watch where the dominoes lie, right? Who loses the other games, you know what I mean? So
Right. For sure.
I feel like they do have a chance to actually win their first playoff game like in a long
Yeah.
time. Like really
Right.
um
Sure.
because I feel like that is definitely possible. And then
Mhm.
they get to sit back and watch the rest of the teams and see who they're actually going to battle against, you know? So I feel like it just comes down to who they play in the second round because I do feel that they can get past that first round. Like I do think that is
Right.
a viable thing for them. Um, and I think that people keep counting down Minnesota and everybody's like, oh, like they've lost to crap teams. I'm like, but they've also beat good teams. And so like I think that and honestly, Kirk is having fun. I don't think I've ever seen him actually be this, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
having
Yeah.
a
For
great
sure.
time. His guys are all behind him. I don't think he's had this camaraderie in a very long time. And
Right.
they're treating him with respect and they're all saying, like, yeah, this is our guy, this is our leader. Then he's got that stud. Yeah, call him 2 Chainz,
Call him
exactly.
2 Chainz. There it is. 2 Chainz.
He's having a blast. He keeps joking about getting grills, right? We've seen
Yeah.
so he's having a fun time. He's got weapons,
Yeah.
guys. I mean, he's got that stud in Justin Jefferson. He's got Thielen there, who's actually has done better the last 2 games, right? He's actually getting
Well,
he got
for
a
sure.
touchdown.
Yeah.
And I think Rager's finally getting into it, right? Finally, he's connected with him, and so I think that
Yep.
he has a stellar offense. The defense is questionable because it's just how the Jets came back, but at the same time, they still hold their own too. So, like, yeah, I do believe that they can get past that first round, and then after that, it just depends who they face off in that second round. I think that's really what it comes down to. Because if they do face if they do end up facing the Eagles or the Cowboys, that could be a problem. But
Yeah.
But if it's like the 49ers with a hurt Jimmy G who might be coming back, they could definitely beat that team. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure. Okay.
so
Fair enough.
I think they have a shot.
I
Honestly, I do. I
Okay.
do believe that they have a shot.
Yeah, I just it's amazing because like you said, people always do like, well, they only won by this or they barely beat
Right.
this team. A win's a win. Like you can say what
They're
you
winning.
want, but at the end of the day, that W's in the column, baby. Like
Right.
thank you, David. We them boys, sure. There we go. More Cowboy fans coming, folks. Let me tell you, but it's all right.
Bro,
I know. Again,
all you have to do
we
is
won't talk
mention
about that
them.
right now. Right.
It's just like being at somebody's house you've never been to. Like, I hope they don't have roaches. The minute you say roach, 8 of them show up. You said Cowboys.
Right, exactly.
You said Cowboys.
Cowboy fans, right. Pretty much.
We didn't mind. What? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. But so let's move on. Okay, I think Minnesota's there. They'll make the playoffs, but definitely a lot to happen a lot can happen between now and then. And again, to see if the seeding stays the same or if somehow they manage to skip up above the old Eagles and Cowboys. But anyways, let's move on to our next one. And hey, for those of us who watched Monday Night Football yesterday, you saw something that you've seen 40-something other times, right? Tom Brady manages to come back once more, throwing a touchdown pass with 3 seconds left in this game to lead his team to victory after what looked like a very dismal 3.5 quarters. They decided to play in the last 4 minutes and come up with the victory. Now, as we all know, Tampa Bay plays in that horrible NFC South. So more than likely, I think we would all agree that Brady and the Bucks are probably going to win that division. Right. If nothing else, then by default in that sense. But it is Tom Brady. This is a man with 7 rings, 10 Super Bowl appearances.
Right.
And as much as, and believe me, I've tried counting him out like 3 or 4 different times in the last few years. And the man always just finds a way to come back. So I'm going to ask the question. Can Tampa Bay make a run in these playoffs? Delilah, can they?
100%.
What's going on here?
100%.
Okay.
Because statistically, the stats are on his side, right? Like I have said it so many times on the show forever, from the beginning, on this show, my show. Don't let that man make the playoffs. I've been saying that.
Yes,
for
I was waiting for Kate
time.
to chime in at any moment, right? We're talking about her boy, but yes, go ahead.
But it's just factual. It's just following stats, right? I'm just like, don't let that man into a playoff because something happens. Something happens to him where it's just a different mentality altogether. He broke the curse of the Saints because we know he was 1-4 in the regular season against the Saints.
He couldn't beat him in the regular season, right?
Somehow he just, so now he got that W, which is why, in the beginning I was like, oh, there it goes. The Saints somehow know how to beat Brady because for some reason he's always struggled against the Saints versus so many other teams that we've seen him just kind of roll over. But he got the W. That's solidifying, Tampa's spot in the playoffs because they're like 4th, I think.
5 or something, 4 or 5.
Yeah, like they dropped.
They're right in that range.
So
they're the division winners, so they're 4. They're number 4.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I thought. Right. 4. So they're 4 because. They're most likely to win that division, even as dismal as it is. That doesn't matter. They'll get that division win again with that three division wins since he got there, right? The Super Bowl win last year, and now this year is looking like they're gonna get it again. So 3 years in a row. It's just I feel like that's just. Don't let that man into the playoffs because he's unpredictable. He did it last year. He didn't make it all the way to the Super Bowl, but he hurt people. He put out the Eagles, right, who are now like the number 1 seed today. You know what I'm saying? So just they could definitely do some damage in the playoffs. If you don't believe that Tom Brady cannot beat you in the playoffs, you've already lost.
No, I hear you. I get you.
You can't go into that mentality because he definitely could make a run for sure. We've seen him do it 7 times.
I'm with you. Now here's the thing, Handy. Here's what was my thing, and this is what I want to get into you with a little bit. The offense. I get the offensive line is a little suspect at times, especially that number 76, the rookie kid who's getting like he leads the league in penalties this year or whatever. That poor kid's getting beat up. But I mean, you've got an offense that has Julio Jones, Mike Evans, Leonard Fournette. This kid Rashid White at running back has been playing very well. Got that game-winning touchdown yesterday. What and Brady himself, has not looked spectacular this year. But when it counts, the man is on. It seems like. But here's what I really want to ask you, because I know Tampa Bay. Given that they're going to win that NFC South, what do you think really is the defense going to carry them through, or does Tom be the guy during these playoffs? Like, what do you really think is going to happen there?
I think it's going to be 65% defense and 35% Tom Brady.
Okay.
But that 35% is a strong 35%. Tom Brady is like the equivalent of Michael Myers and the Undertaker wrapped up in one. Like you can have him. Speaking from experience, you could have him on the ropes. He's getting ready to get out. You're getting ready to climb the top rope to hit him with the flying elbow, and then pick him up to an RKO to submit him. And while you climbing the rope, here comes the bell. Boom. And he just sat up, and now he's coming to take you out. Or you think Michael Myers is dead, and you turn around and he's gone, and he comes around from behind the chainsaws and gets you with whatever he's got. So, listen, you should have got in the running car. That's all I got to say. But
that's right. Get in the running car.
Tom Brady is. I grudgingly give Tom Brady that respect just as a fan of a team, and I just watched him come back and surgically dissect a 25-point, eradicate a 25-point lead in route to the first and only overtime win in the Super Bowl. So
correct. I wasn't going to try to mention that for you, but I guess we have to.
My therapist said that if I talk about it and vocalize it, then I'd be able to better reconcile with it. So,
okay, very good. I'm all for healing and getting past stuff. There you go.
Yeah, he said two more visits, and I can get rid of my Tom Brady.
So if they keep their numbers, Sean was saying they play the Cowboys, but didn't Tampa win on September 11th? Right? Isn't that when they played the Cowboys? Isn't that when they played?
That was very early to say. This for week 1, wasn't it? Yeah,
I think so.
I believe that was a bad showing by Dallas, no doubt. I mean, not that Tampa played much better. I don't think it wasn't a low-scoring game. It was like, they won. Yeah, 19-3 exactly. It wasn't that great. I don't know.
So I don't know. It should be interesting. I don't know. It should be interesting if they actually meet up in the playoffs. It should be interesting. To see who
that would definitely be something.
Should be a good game,
right?
It should be a good game, though.
Well, see, that's the thing, though, is that let's just say, for the sake of this discussion, somehow the Cowboys finish first, then they get to bye.
Yeah, man.
Then number four plays number 5, which would then be the Eagles probably for finishing second in that NFC East. So there you go. There it is. Yeah. Anywho, all right, Mr. Wright. Yes,
here we go.
David, we love David, but for those of you who don't know, obviously our resident Cowboy fan, David Wright, along with Ash Swinton and Janae Struther, they formed this triumphant that never mind. I'm not going to get into the Cowboys fans right now. Let's just move on.
It's not good.
Right. Let's move on because
did Dak? I thought Dak played the opener too. Was it Cooper Rush?
Jack played in the opener. He did play in the opener.
That's what I thought.
But like I said, David's a Cowboy fan. He's probably making stuff up again. I don't know what he's talking about.
I thought so too. But in any case, for Dallas, for Dallas to climb to first place, because you got the Eagles and Minnesota. Like, don't they have to win out, and then Eagles and Minnesota have to drop a bunch of games?
Well,
I'm just looking at the statistics.
No, yeah, I was trying to look at that this morning to try to figure all that out, but I think Minnesota actually has they play the Bears again, they play the Colts, and they had a lesser schedule for the most part that I was looking at. So if Minnesota can find a way to at least win 3 or 4 out of the last 5, they might have a shot at it. Who knows? We'll see. Again, it's Minnesota. We don't know what's going to happen. It's Kirk Cousins. Who knows? But moving on, we all love Tom Brady, but let's move on. The Cincinnati Bengals. Well, I know. It was, I was just trying to segue in a nice way, you know what I'm saying? But the Cincinnati Bengals won yesterday, taking their record to 8-4, beating for the 3rd time in the last few years the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I ask you, because we have talked about Cincinnati up and down this whole year. Like they look like they were out for a minute. Now they've resurrected themselves. They're 8-4. Burrow's playing like, an MVP at this point. He's playing much, much better. He gets his buddy Jamar Chase back. He's still got T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Samaje Perine, all that. Can the Super Bowl representative from the AFC make a good playoff run? And the reason why I asked this is because a lot of people, even myself early, were really doubting the Bengals. They've managed to turn it around. Are they peaking at the right time here to win the NFC? Mr. Handy, what sayeth you about those Bengals?
I am going to 100% say yes, if for no other reason than the quarterback himself. We saw last season what Joe Burrow by himself, with little or no help, motivated himself and his teammates to achieve. I mean, you're talking about a decimated offensive line, a quarterback who was getting beat up left, right, and Sunday, and they still got all the way to this. I mean, all the way to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now he's got some help around him, and he's got Mr. Acrobat catching those passes. They've made some improvements on the offensive line. I definitely think they're peaking at the right time. I used to run track in high school, and this is the way, if you ran a distance race of longer than 400 meters, like if you ran anything longer than 800, you just kind of tried to stay in the roundabout at the front end in the middle of the pack. You didn't have to be chasing. You didn't have to be chasing the person that's all the way out in front. Stay about somewhere near the front of the middle of the pack, and you all notice that around the third or the fourth lap, they start slowly reeling in the leader, and they just start walking people down until they're that final push for that final kick, and that's exactly what the Bengals have done. So, I definitely think with what the Bengals have going on right now, they could. It is possible.
Delilah, I'm going to ask you because again, we've all, I think we're both Joe Burrow fans, and we've talked about Cincinnati here and there. But does there some magic left in that old Bengal striped helmet he's got there? Can Joe Burrow lead this team through again with the, the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs as favorites, obviously, to come out of there? Is this Cincinnati team legit? Are they ready to make this run?
I mean, I want to say yes because they're making that bounce back. But I just, man, if they went into the playoffs, they'd be playing the Chiefs. And even though we know that they beat them in the regular season, but the Chiefs in the playoffs are just a different beast altogether as well. There's a reason why we call Mahomes baby goat. And you know what I mean?
I call him Kermit the Frog, but all right, sure.
I know, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, the Chiefs turn on all cylinders in the playoffs. And we know that in this day and age, it's really hard to repeat like that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like the back-to-back, like, isn't something as common. Like, last time we saw the guy was to Mr. Tom Brady with the Patriots.
Yeah,
but
sure.
But like, yeah, I feel like they have a harder going this year than last year.
Okay.
Like, just because they don't have that, they didn't come in at the top like they thought. They are peaking at the right time. I just don't see them going all the way back to the Super Bowl. I really don't.
Okay. No, fair enough. I mean, again, it's so, I'm so, like I said, I'm like 50-50 to be really honest with you, because I like Joe Burrow a lot. I like what they're doing there. The defense has played better. The offensive line is kind of like bended but didn't break type thing. They're giving him some time, and so yeah, I would say that I think the Bengals could possibly make the AFC Championship game if they continue like this, but I don't, like I said, I don't know if they're getting back to the Super Bowl. I just know that that's a little bit tough for the second time around. But again, that is our coin toss for this week.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.